Okay. Oh, and I would like to say this is today's live stream about English. I'm sorry that I faced some problem just now, and I cleaned up like my data on the iPhone through to release the storage space, and now it can the YouTube app can work again. Okay, so let us start today's topic. The topic is how can we why is the rumor that Wagner Group had a conflict with the defense of ministry in Russia is likely to be misinformation from Russia itself. And before we started this topic, we need to introduce the history of the Wagner Group. Wagner Group was created near 2014. It is created by a colonel called Prigozhin. It is from the SFE. It is an intelligence sector of the defense of the ministry in Russia. That because it is a defensive sector. This is the defensive sector, and the usage of the Wagner Group is used on to do something Russia can't do but want to do. For example, invading Ukraine is something Russia can't do in 2014. So Russia create a Wagner Group and do the invasion. Most of the militia of Donbas is composed of the Wagner Group and some of the Russian nationalist militia. And it is true. It's true about the history of the Wagner Group. Actually the Donbas militia are all Russians. Nearly all of Donbas militia are Russians. Yeah, this is true at 2015. And at 2016 and 2018, when Russia started its military operation in Syria to help the Assad government to wipe out the traitors, the democracy team, to wipe out the democracy team. And that the Wagner Group is getting involved in that this operation, and it is notorious from torture, rape, robbery, and killing, massacre. It simply did every bad things which possibly happened in war. It simply commit all of the war crime. But Wagner Group is a mercenary. It's a mercenary. It is not controlled by Russia Ministry of Defense. So Russia said, oh, we cannot control Wagner Group mercenary, and we can't prosecute them. So the war crime of the Wagner Group have not been sued or have not been put into the justice yet. Okay, so this is the history of the Wagner Group before the war exploded, before 2022 war. And after 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, at first, Wagner Group is a course which accompanied by Russian official troops is just like one of the Russian official troops and do the same mission from them. There's in the beginning of the war, there's no difference between the Wagner Group and the Russian military group. The only difference is the market difference. They all do war crimes. They all rape women. They all kill innocent civilians. Or they are all the same. Okay, so. And I have researched about Gray Zone. The Gray Zone at the February 28th, nearly February 28th, he said that the Russian plan is to use some force to attract the Ukrainian attract the Ukrainian army on the eastern Ukraine and use the main army to get the Kiev, use MoD to attack Kiev and occupy Kiev and capture the head of the Ukrainian governments. So it is a beheading operation. And the Wagner Group, Gray Zone, openly revealed this military intelligence. And 1 year after today, when we saw the pattern, we know that, oh, Gray Zone spoke the truth. But why Gray Zone could speak the truth? Why Gray Zone could reveal those sensitive military intelligence? It is because that Wagner Group is a mercenary. It is not be ruled by defensive Ministry of Defense in Russia. So the Telegram owner, the Wagner Troop Telegram, can write whatever they want. So they always reveal some of the sensitive military intelligence. So I kept researching them until the day because their information are full of values, military values. They are full of the sensitive military intelligence. So that's why I like to read the Gray Zone. And that's the problem is Wagner Group. At the beginning of the war, Wagner Group is shows no difference between the normal Russian troops. But at the middle of the war, from the June to July 2022, the last Wagner Group used the last Wagner Group. They use the defensive manner. They use Wagner Group as the main force to attack Bakhmut since July 2022, and until today now Wagner Group become much larger than before, and it become the main force to attack Bakhmut. So why does a Wagner Group from a small group accompanied with official troop of Russia is now become the main group of the Russian military system? It seems like Wagner Group is as big as the Ministry of Defense, and now it has a rumor that Russia, the Wagner Group Prigozhin, has some conflict with the Ministry of Defense of Russia. Which, if Prigozhin really has a conflict, why can Prigozhin got so much soldier, got so much men, got so much resource to make Wagner Group as big as Russian military forces? So that is that's why I said why that this information is possibly to be a fake news. It's possibly to be a misinformation. That Wagner Group is won't have to and won't possibly. It's impossible that Wagner Group have a conflict with military defense, because if you look a map that where Wagner Group was attacked Bakhmut. If you have observed the battle map of the Bakhmut, you will find that Putin actually divides the Wagner Group and the Russian military defense apart. So they attack the Ukrainian troop independently. So Wagner Group cannot take away Russian troops' effort. Wagner Group cannot claim that Russian troops' effort are theirs. So there is no problem of the rewards. There will be no problem of the controversy. There will be no problem of the price and penalty and punishment. There will be no problem of the unfair treatment of either Wagner Group or Ministry of Defense. They are actually a fair competition in the military operation inside the Ukraine. So there is a fair competition. Wagner Group and Military of Defense now have a fair competition in the Ukraine to make each other get better and better, to make each other improve themselves and become more strengthening and more powerful than before, than the last year, so that Russian military can solve its problem and keep pushing the land inside the Ukraine and try to make this war successful. Okay, try to win this war. This is the devotion. Try to win this war. So there's no reason that Wagner Group have conflict with the Russian military defense. But why did only the old people, no matter like Kiev independent, no matter like Reuters, no matter like every people have the rumor that Wagner Group have the conflict with Russian government now? Putin seems not like Prigozhin. Prigozhin wants to replace Putin. Why does this rumor happen? Today I will actually show my version, my opinion about Wagner Group rumor. And why Wagner Group is enlarged? It's because that Putin wants to use Wagner Group to change the mobilized men, to train those conscripts. It wants because the Russian conscripts are lack of training. They are cannon foders. They are useless. Their only way is to attract people's fire, attract Ukrainian forces' fire, and die for nothing. This is the Russian mobilized through last year. The Russian mobilization through last year. So if you want to get improved, the mobilization system, you need to get improved the training system. You need to get improved the rule of the Russian troops. You need to reform the system of the inside the mobilization. So, but there's a problem in Russia. Corruption is a significant Russian problem. The Russians' corruption problem is much more difficult, much more severe than the Ukrainian army, which is already very severe now. But the Russians' corruption problem is too severe to be imaginable. For example, you may heard that the news from that the Russia want to steal the Russia has still $5 million from Turkey victim after the Turkish earthquake, and it got back to Moscow and be arrested by the FSB. But what you don't know is that why does FSB arrest that guy? Why does FSB want to take that guy away? Because they want that the whole €1,000,000. After they arrest that guy, the whole €1,000,000 will become the asset of a Russian government, and that the FSB official can use the flaw of the Russian legal system to take those whole €1,000,000 away into their pockets, and they will claim that they frozen the whole €1,000,000 for 10 years, and after 10 years they will claim because we have poor managed system, the whole €1,000,000 are gone away. But actually, the whole €1,000,000 are inside, in the pocket of the FSB official. This is everybody will know. So that the FSB arrest the Moscow guy who stole a whole €1,000,000 is actually an asset transportation. The robbery still exists. The robbery still exists. Just the main character is FSD instead of the Moscow guy. Okay, so this is the problem that. So this is the problem that the Russian corruption is just one of them. Okay, so that the Russian army's corruption problem is also extremely severe, and that it's especially the conscript system, because that Russia has long time doesn't have the mass scale war after the Chechnya war. Russia has a good peaceful period, and during a good peaceful period, Russia has no necessity to keep their country soldiers strong. So the officials try to corrupt the money from the conscript system, so that the original mobilized system are full of the corrupted officials. And Putin doesn't have any capability to solve this problem. So what he is thinking about, he thinks that that Wagner Group can be a solution of that corrupted Russian mobilization system. So that the idea is they will abuse the conscript soldier in the mobilization system to force the conscript soldier flee to the Prigozhin's Wagner Group. And when they flee to the Prigozhin's Wagner Group, then the Wagner Group can train them far much better than the original mobilized system. Then Russia can have the much better mobilization troops. Russia has much better conscript soldiers, and the whole Russian army will be much stronger than last year. And by improving the Russian army, Putin still wants to win this war. So the Wagner Group transformation is an attempt for Putin to improve, to solve the current Russia's problem, and keep trying to win this war. Though it is unlikely to win, but Putin is still struggling. Okay, this is one of the struggle attempt of the Wagner Group. But the effect, let's make a fair comment. The effect of the Wagner Group is good. It is generally very good. That the Russian mobilized troop is much stronger, because it's much stronger now compared to last year. Okay, and so that Putin had archive its goal. or archive his goal. And that means the Ukraine army will suffer more casualty. They will suffer the stronger Wagner troops. And those Wagner troops are supposed to be the mobilized troops. Okay, so the mobilized troops become Wagner troops and become much stronger. This is Putin's plan. Then there's a problem. That's why the Russia should spread the rumor between Wagner troops and the military of defense. Because Putin doesn't want Russian people know that it is Putin himself wants the Russian conscript get into the Wagner Group. Putin doesn't want that the Russian people knows that he is encouraging the mobilized conscripts or joining Wagner troop, because that Wagner troop has a renowned rule that any deserter will be shot to death. And if in the Russian mobilized troop, if you become a deserter, if you flee from the battlefield, the Russia will put you on a jail, and after several years let you get out. But in the Wagner Group, when you become a deserter, Russia can shut you dead. Russia can kill you. So Russia can make a barrier troop like a Soviet army today. So that's why Putin wants Wagner troop to train his conscripts. So it makes sense, right? But he doesn't want it that the Wagner troop. He doesn't want it to let. He doesn't want to make people know his plan, because the Russian people know that Wagner troops are full of criminals. Wagner troops are dangerous. Wagner troops are highly likely to be killed. So that Putin need to spread the rumor that the Russian troops and the military of defense are rivals. They are rivals. So the Russian military conscript will believe this rumor and say, if I flee from the Russian military system, if I flee from the original troop, that is out of my own wish. That is my decision. That is not the policy. That is not the Russian policy. It's just my decision to join in the Wagner troop. But it is actually a Russian policy. It is actually a Putin's plan. Okay, but by spreading this rumor, Putin can archive his goal. Putin can hide the truth and don't let the Russian people know that Putin wants the conscript die on the battlefield. Okay, so this is why I think, this is my opinion, why there is a rumor between that the Wagner Group has conveyed with military defense. If you dig on more, if you keep digging out the details, you will find there are many contradiction factors. Prigozhin had no idea to be possibly traitor. Although Prigozhin has ambitions. Everybody knows Prigozhin has an ambition. But there's no way that Prigozhin will replace Putin by himself. And that Putin, in order to prevent the betrayal of Wagner Group, Putin has one weapon, VDV. By now, so far, Putin still has a lot of VDV, the special troop, on his hand. the VDV is still stronger than the Wagner troop. And that means if Wagner troop really betrayed Putin, Putin can still use VDV to wipe out Wagner troop. So his reign is still stable. His reign is still have no risk. He can keep his reign well. So this is the trick of a dictatorship country. This is the trick of a dictator. Okay, so this is the Putin's plan about the Wagner troop and the BDB and the Ministry of Defense. This is my idea about the Wagner troop. Okay, then what will be the future? What will be the future? The future will the future become that will the future become the problem of what will be the future? The future, I think that the future will become that Russia will have several problems. Russia will make another mercenary group, or one will make another two mercenary groups. Maybe one or two mercenary groups, to make maybe 2 or 3 mercenary groups to compete with each other to test who can train those countries better. So then the mercenary group can train themselves and to make each stronger. Then it will be a good competition of the country training. So the first thing is that the stage now is make the Wagner group compete with the military of defense. The second goal will be the several mercenary to compete each other and to make the country much stronger than before, and to make Ukrainian army much harder to counterattack. This is I think this is why I think the Putin's plan and his future plan. Okay, so this is the today's sharing. I hope that might help you to understand this rumor. It's actually fake, and I hope you understand the situation in Ukraine. It's become more difficult, and you need to aid Ukraine much harder than last year. Okay, the Russia is not completely pure. Russia is still getting better and better. Russia is still improving themselves. So if you don't help, you stopped helping Ukraine, Ukraine still has the risk to lose. Okay, this is what I'm saying today, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.